BitcoinMagazine.nl, and we get to be here at the Old Royal Naval College in the heart of London for the Midnight Summit 2025. And all of those words put together might not make a lot of sense to you. Midnight has its own summit in London, Old Royal Naval College, lights, cameras in the building, and obviously you recognize him from the side profile and the beard. He's one of the most recognizable faces when it comes to the Midnight Network. I got to sit down with him in Paris, by far the most interesting conversation where, and I'll be honest, I sit down with a lot of people, but very few people teach me and give me a master class of what's going on and tell me and educate me. And that's why I really push to sit with him down and talk to him again. So you know what to do. Share this video, like this video, leave a comment, start a conversation. We are one community pushing for mass adoption, and we need you to make that happen. So, Mauricio, I truly enjoy it. I kind of stalked you and hounded you and make sure you're sitting in that chair.
Yes, you did.
Like literally, I threatened people. I was like, I'm gonna leave and I don't get to sit down with Mauricio. And they came through. So thank you for taking the
Hey,
time.
my pleasure.
And you know something, when it comes to the network, you are the guy. You understand this product, I would say, as good as anybody who was on stage. You could talk about it and you could tell us where we're going. I just sat down with Ben. Ben told me Q1 mainnet. And I sat down with Robert Bob also yesterday. Next year, mainnet. So when these people tell me that, you who actually knows the product, is this an ambitious goal? Are we thinking, hey, this is actually going to happen? And when it does, what can we expect?
So I think it is an ambitious goal, of course. We want to have as many people as possible to use the network, right? So that's the goal. And as Charles said himself, we could wait for perfection, or we could just launch and continuously build towards that goal. And I think that's, as a product person, that's all you need, and all you want to do is to just get the product in the hands of people. We've been very fortunate to run testnet for about a year now, and we'll continue to run testnet. Even after we launch mainnet, we'll have a stage of an incentivized testnet where we're going to start progressive decentralizing block production, which to me is very exciting. So yeah, I mean, it's all a product person could ask.
Now, as we move forward in conversations with a lot of the people, I keep hearing, and I enjoyed Ben's conversation. I asked him, what are the hurdles? What can go wrong? Most of the time I hear nothing can go wrong. This is perfect. Make sure you join. But Ben told me this can go wrong. We're working on that. This can go wrong. We're working it from both sides. From your perspective, when it comes to the product itself, how do you create trust? How do you say that, hey, like you just said, we're launching, but you should still trust us?
I think the feedback loop is something that we're really proud of, and we've had this feedback loop running with the community since we started. Listening, as a product person, listening is the first thing you have to do. And I think we've done a great job at engaging with the community. I mean, the summit is testimony to this. Like you've heard from partners, you've heard from builders. We have a hackathon going on with the community. Like, we don't build this for ourselves. We build this for other people to build on it. And if you're not willing to take, criticism and feedback face first, you might as well just not do it. So, just in terms of building trust, as you say, I think listening, making sure that you address their concerns or take that as an opportunity to educate. And then if it's something that you really have to fix on the product, make sure that return to them and say, hey, by the way, your feedback, we hear you, here it is. So I think we're in a state where this is how we're taking this to market. And once mainnet launches, we're going to hear a lot from new people that haven't been on testnet. They're going to have their own opinions, and we'll be taking those opinions and feedback and just making a better product.
Wonderful. So from everybody put together, Midnight's going to give us manageable privacy, computational privacy, compliance through privacy. All of these terms came to board. Everybody has another way of describing what it's going to do to privacy. From your perspective, how would you explain what we're trying to accomplish?
So I think maybe you and I spoke about this in Paris, and my opinion didn't change. We've been to 20, 30 years of giving our data away in exchange for questionable services. This is still true, right? Between Paris and now, we've seen the rise of AI in
Yes.
ways that we may not have predicted then, but we're seeing now.
Yes.
This is all your data. My data, your data, everyone's data is being used to train these models. What I think privacy in the context of what we're doing will enable us to do is to claw that back, like actual digital ownership. Because right now you say, well, I have an on-chain asset. I own it. I can prove I own it. But as you've seen with NFTs, anyone can go right-click, say this, right?
Yes.
When we talk about bringing that on-chain to public chains in terms of privacy, what we mean is you decide who gets to see it and when. And if it's in your terms as a user to want to be rewarded by sharing that piece of information, you get to decide that too. So in a world where computational privacy or selective disclosure is the norm, you don't get crawlers of the internet stealing data from left to right. Right? So that is a big paradigm shift. So if we are to live in a world where AI is rampant, I personally want to have the say of what data of mine gets to be consumed and how much I want for that data. So that's where I think we draw the line in terms of privacy. Are we going to fix our 30 years of giving data away? We can't. But are we going to have a better fighting chance or better odds going into this AI powered future with selective disclosure? Absolutely.
When we met in Paris, a few months after that, I sat down with Fahmi in Amsterdam. He told me, hey, we haven't reached 100 yet. We're working towards that. Now, fast forward to now, we're over 100 partners on the blockchain. How does that make you feel?
I mean, it's a KPI. You heard Charles say, right? We're gonna grow this ecosystem based on KPIs. So for the partnerships team, that's a huge milestone. It's a great
Yes, it is.
KPI. Now, does that mean that we have all the builders we would ever want on chain?
Not yet.
Not yet, right? And you've heard some of the panels, and even Bob mentioning regulators and central banks. So we don't have any central bank building on the blockchain on the testnet yet.
No.
I would be so pleased to see regulators starting to investigate how they can leverage the Midnight capabilities to their own benefit and to the benefit of their jurisdictions. And I hope to see that. Like that will be for me because I worked with regulators in the past. I worked in regulated industries in the past. It would be amazing to see regulators coming on chain, like de facto, more especially on Midnight. I will be thrilled.
Now, how do you bridge that gap between traditional finance and decentralized finance? Do you think Midnight can be that, let's call it bridge?
Yes, and yes,
Okay.
I do think, and I think every chain should go for that.
Okay.
Every community should go for that because ultimately what we're trying to do, and Charles talks about it on some of his speeches, is we're going into a direction where there's no TradFi and DeFi, there's just finance. And if Midnight can be the propeller to that,
Yeah.
awesome.
Okay.
But Midnight is not the only game in town. Now, if you're serious about regulated finance or regulated DeFi, if you will, I think Midnight with the privacy preserving capabilities have a better odds of enabling these markets to merge and converge. Does it mean that every one of the markets are going to exist on Midnight? No, I think we'll still have a multi-chain world. And as you learned from Charles multiple times, cooperative tokenomics is a thing we're
Exactly.
bringing in. So hopefully at some point, even if the assets are minted in different chains, then the privacy of it will exist on Midnight as the privacy layer
Exactly.
two for
Privacy
everybody.
layer to it.
So I love the concept of being the privacy layer two for everybody. Is it ready when we launch? Probably not. Will this be a progressive thing we're going to pursue? Absolutely.
We will get there.
Yeah, we'll get
Now,
there.
for you as a product guy, how do you, and I think of it as like a balancing act that you have to do. We get Fami on stage as the president. He kind of paints a picture of unity and we're all working together and hope and it's all that positive vibe. And then you get Charles on stage, KPIs, metrics, build, grow, promises, big plans. how do you sit in between those two type of giants with the product? How do you lean more one way than the other? How do you present a product that's being pushed by two giants?
I'm going to react to this. I don't think they're at opposing ends of that
No, they're
spectrum.
not.
I mean, they're actually saying the same thing with different flavors.
Exactly.
I think the roadmap slide that Charles presented is something that we've been working towards anyway. I mean, it's not like I'm learning from Charles on the stage.
You shouldn't be. You're the
And
product guy.
so to us, everything there makes sense. What I like about the way Fahmi approaches things is that he's ecosystem focused.
Yeah.
And will continue to be ecosystem focused through the foundation. Charles is the tech visionary, the polymath, right?
Yeah.
So every word on that speech is a press release we consume to pursue the features that are implied in that conversation. So you've seen Pi on the stage talk and showcase the capacity exchange. Yeah. This is something we're working on. Cooperative tokenomics came out with the Knight paper. All of these things are adding up, right? At some point, we'll have critical mass and enough stability to say, this is your mainnet world, go benefit from it, and we'll continue to work in the rest of the stuff.
And keep moving forward.
And keep moving forward because, we can put as much technology as we can out into the world. If we don't have an ecosystem that is benefiting from it and building for it, then why would we do that anyway? So both ends of that spectrum, if you will, like Charles as a tech visionary embracing and creating the interest, and then Fahmi and the foundation just fostering ecosystem. Like you get to combine it, and we as the builders of the protocol, we benefit from all those conversations, because again, if I'm not getting feedback from the community, then what the hell am I doing anyway, right? So we pursue the vision that Charles put forth, and we get to draw from the community feedback as we execute. So it's just a really great combination. Yeah, great combination.
Okay, now we sat down in Paris, and I asked you a question down there. Why do we need midnight? Would your answer have changed from, it's almost a year ago, would your answer would have changed in the last year?
Oh, if anything, I think we need more. Because, again, just talked about the AI thing. Yeah. I think, for all intents and purposes, we have to turn this thing on so we can start to claw back on that kind of digital ownership I was talking about. Again, I still don't want to live in a world where midnight doesn't exist.
Wonderful. One takeaway, what would it be? What do you want people to take away from this amazing event?
Well, if anything, I think we now seen the concrete midnight community. And this to me is just remarkable to see the actual people. Because I love the online stuff, the internet, Twitter, all that stuff. But I think, Web3 is for the people, by the people, and the summit is a manifestation of that.
Wow. A summit for the people, by the people. I could not have said that better. That's what Midnight Summit 2025 was all about right here in the heart of London. And I got to sit down with Maurício. So, moving forward, what is your one wish for Midnight?
LFG.
He whispered it very quietly. So turn up your volume, and I hope you can hear it.
LFG.
I'm not gonna. You know what to do with these videos. You gotta share them, you gotta comment, and you gotta like them. Start a conversation. Help us reach a point where all of this becomes mainstream. Q1 Mainnet. Mauricio has given us a lot of additional information that you need to watch. Watch all of the videos in this series, and we will be back for sure. I'm guarantee you there's gonna be a summit in 2026 or even earlier where we're gonna have more information for you right here on BitcoinMagazine.nl. Thank you, my friend. That was amazing, and see you all soon.